Back.
I have to tell you that after the last segment we had here, the last couple of segments, and going in and preparing for this next segment or two, it is very, very clear to me. In fact, Peter and I were just talking. He said, I don't know how you get up every day and look at all this stuff. And I said, I know, because it's not just corruption in Washington. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. They're in broadcasts. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But as Peter said before he left the set, God is on our side. God is on our side. We must have him on our side. We win. But it is a battle, really. It's a biblical proportions for man's freedom. And we have to be the best people we possibly can be. And I want you to find your passion on the place that you want to not only guard, but change, and also preserve. I want to go to education. Last week we had Kyle Olson on the show. He is the author of Indoctrination. It is a book that looks about what's really going on in public schools and how progressives are indoctrinating our children in our educational system. We asked him to come back because I wanted him to focus on Occupy Wall Street and see how it's infiltrating in the classrooms. Remember I told you a couple of weeks ago, or about a year ago, when Time Magazine came out and they didn't even include the Tea Party. The year that we had 828 and 912, and those huge Tea Party, nothing? Time Magazine didn't include the Tea Party in its year-end review? History was being written. Now, an actual history book is about to come out on Occupy Wall Street. Of course it is. Who's writing actual history? The progressives in the universities. Kyle, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
What do you have? Dare I ask? What do you have tonight?
I dare you ask. Well, I'm here to talk about the role that teachers are playing in Occupy Wall Street,
Okay.
because the agenda is very clear. What they're doing is they're going out to the streets, and then they're bringing the streets into the classroom. And so teachers' unions have been at the forefront of Occupy Wall Street, whether it's here in New York City, whether it's Milwaukee, Chicago, Oakland, across the country.
Okay. I have a friend I just had lunch with today, and he said, my wife is a teacher here in New York, and he said she's not politically active, and she's bothered that they're giving some money to Occupy Wall Street, but not bothered so much that I think she's going to do anything about it or say anything about it.
And that's the trouble.
Okay, well,
Is that
Show me why it's so dangerous. Show a teacher who's like, you know what, look, the unions do things that I don't agree with all the time. Show me what's really happening.
Well, what's happening is Bob Peterson, the Milwaukee president of the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Union, recently expressed his support for Occupy Wall Street, and I think you've got a video of that.
Yeah, go ahead, play this, please.
I'm Bob Peterson. I'm president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association.
And why are you here today?
I'm here because our teachers union supports Occupy Wall Street, Milwaukee. We believe that we need to change the political and economic dynamic of the society so working people and working families are protected and our tax dollars don't get wasted on corporations and banks that don't need the money.
Okay, that guy comes to my door and he says those things, and I'm not paying attention. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. I'll sign that petition.
That's right. And so what's happening is they bring that into the classroom. And I believe Bob Peterson, this is a personal opinion, is one of the most dangerous teachers in America because he has such a huge influence.
If you are saying that, and that guy's standing at my doorstep, I say you're a nut job. Because he doesn't seem dangerous. Right. He wants working families to get a fair shake, and he wants the end of corruption.
Sure. Well, he's good at the talking points, and he's good at the poll-tested phrases.
Show me why he's dangerous.
Well, he's dangerous because he has strong alliances with Bill Ayers, of all people. Now, Bob Peterson started an organization called Rethinking Schools, which gets into all of this Occupy Wall Street type philosophy.
Agenda for Change.
And that's a book that he actually wrote about the agenda to change the schools. And
Who else is on the Henry Louis Gates Jr.? Why do I know that name?
I think a beer summit was held with him.
Yeah,
if
that's
I remember
right.
correctly.
Oh, and Howard Zinn, the communist. Anyway, this is what does he say here? Schools are integral not only to preparing all children to be full participants in society, but also to be full participants in the country's ever tenacious experiment in democracy.
That's right. Now again, in my opinion, he is dangerous because he has such influence over not only students but teachers. And so there's this organization, Rethinking Schools, and it recently held its 25th anniversary gala, and Bill Ayers was the speaker. And our organization was able to get some footage of that, and so I've got that here as well today.
So go ahead, let's show the Bill Ayers video.
Overwhelmed when Bob won the union presidency. He and Barbara came down to Chicago. We did a little fundraiser for the campaign in our house, and we reminded him that Barack Obama did a little fundraiser in our house too. At that time, I thought, geez, Obama's an ambitious young man. He wants to be mayor of Chicago. That's the limits of my imaginative. And then I thought, geez, and Bob wants to be a union president.
So Bob Peterson started a Facebook group called Teach Occupy Wall Street, where the teachers that are supporting this type of ideology are obtaining lesson plans and curriculum and different ways to bring all of these issues into the classroom.
All right, show me some of the Facebook. Can we just throw up some of the full screens of the Facebook? There it is, Teach Occupy Wall Street. Give me a sheet tear, there it is. Now let's go to the Occupy Wall Street Times article, please. So the New York Times article, there it is. Now go to the tear, please.
That's not just an article, that's an actual lesson plan posted on the New York Times website about how to teach about Occupy Wall Street.
When did they start posting lesson plans?
They've posted lesson plans for quite a while.
Okay. Do they do that for the Tea Party people that are teachers too? Or?
I didn't look, but I think you know the answer to that.
I do know the answer. Okay, so tell me the lesson plan.
So another thing that is going on is there are teachers groups that are posting their own lesson plans. And so in Oakland, there's actually a very, shall I say, committed group of radicals in Oakland, California.
What a surprise, home of Van Jones.
And they created a database of lesson plans and different resources for teachers to use. And so this lesson plan here that's being shown right now talks about wants versus needs, and this is very interesting because what she's setting the kids up to think is that work and education are not wants but needs. And so therefore, if they can't provide it for themselves, then someone should provide it for them. But I think the most disturbing thing from this is where it says this lesson should have an anti-capitalist slant to it, meaning a discussion that if someone doesn't have money, does that mean they shouldn't have their basic needs met? And so the teacher is going into this with a predetermined outcome that this should have an anti-capitalist slant.
Tiffany, could you do me a favor? Have somebody search real quick for the Norman Rockwell painting Freedom from Want. It's the one with the grandparents and the big turkey. It was a progressive propaganda piece to buy war bonds. It's based on the... You have it? Do you have it? See if you can put it up. It is it was to back the For Freedom speech of FDR, where he said, well, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, yes. But then the other two, freedom from fear. You don't have a right to freedom from fear. You can't have a freedom from fear. That doesn't even make sense. And the second was freedom from want. Here they are, updating it now and teaching it to our children.
That's right. And that's not all. Again, in all of these resources that they're providing, they have categories of, you know, age group, elementary, middle school, high school, that sort of thing. And so in these resources, they actually suggest giving middle schoolers and high schoolers a Copwatch pocket guide to teach children.
Wait, how young?
Middle schoolers.
Middle school. a cop watch.
There it is there.
Tell me what the cop watch pocket watch says. If the police arrest you, a middle schooler.
Middle schooler.
If the police arrest you, police can arrest someone they believe is interfering with their actions. Maintain a reasonable distance. If a cop threatens to arrest you, explain that you don't intend to interfere, but you have the right to observe their actions. Be careful, be street smart. Well, why would someone, I mean, unless you think the cops are the oppressor, why would someone want, I've never got a cop watch.
Schools have changed. And there's a real agenda, and this is the agenda, is that the progressive teachers, the activist teachers, want to push these issues, and they want to turn the students into activists. They want the students to enact the change. And I want to be very clear that this is not every single teacher. This is not every single school. But these teachers clearly...
But in your book you do show too that, but it is in textbooks now. Some of this stuff, not the Occupy Wall Street, but some of this stuff, it's in textbooks. There's
a book that you've talked about called Social Studies Alive, which is very biased. It talks about child care being a right. It talks about all of these things that you would think would be a want, are needs. And what is disturbing about that textbook and many others that I talk about in the book is that they come at it from this position where it's just a given. And so students are expected to give the answers that the teacher is requesting.
Okay. Do you have a list of the things that you think that parents should look for, and is there anything, Kyle, that maybe we can develop, or unless you already have, that we can give to parents that's like, like the cop watch pocket thing, that you can say, look, these are the telltale signs here, and these are the resources of the people that will help you?
I don't have that. We should put that together.
Okay.
And that's something that we can distribute, hopefully together.
Okay.
At the end of the book, I do have a section called Taking a Stand, where we give specific points to parents, taxpayers, and elected officials about what to do, how to root this out, how to expose it, and then how to find a way out.
Okay. And chapter 37 is what you can do, and get to know your child's teacher, taxpayers. This is great. Okay. So, look. Grab this book. If you are somebody that cares about the education of our children, if that is the thing that really drives you, everybody is unique. Everybody is born and has a purpose. We all have a puzzle piece. I don't know what yours is, but you have to find it. If it happens to be the indoctrination of our children, happens to be schools, buy this book and start here. You also have to be, correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but the Occupy Wall Street and the labor unions and everything else, while everybody, it's always watch the other hand, while everybody is watching the presidential races, they are going down to the local level, and they are infiltrating like crazy at the local level, right?
I think that's right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again. Let's see if we can put that list together, and then,
Great.
And then we'll move on from there. Back in just a second.